The content, views, and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the producer and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the City of Bremerton, BCAT, their officials, or their employees. Hello, I'm Elise of Joyful Plant, and welcome to Gardening Through Art. Today we're going to paint a Norwegian boat-style basket using a simple pattern of Rosemaling, or maybe pronounced Rosemaling. Rosemaling began in Norway in the 1700s when rural painters blended Baroque and Rococo influences into a folk art that decorated everyday wooden objects. The designs are full of stylized flowers, leaves, and spiraling shapes, little painted gardens inspired by nature. Let's begin. If you're following along at home, you'll want a prepped wooden piece, transfer paper, oil or acrylic paints, a flat number 2 brush, a round number 0 brush, and a clear acrylic sealant. Additional supplies include sandpaper, painter's tape, odorless paint thinner, cloth rags, walnut oil, and Q-tips. This basket was handmade by Port Orchard craftsman Bill Keller. I've already prepared the surface with 2 smooth coats of Jones Sonia's acrylics. Once your piece is ready, you can choose a pattern or sketch your own. So we begin with a flat brush. I like a flat number 4, number 6. You can experiment to see what you prefer. We add a little bit of walnut oil to the brush, and I've traced this traditional pattern by Trudy Peach onto my board. There are ways of doing this with transfer paper, either with a darker color or a lighter color if you're painting on something like dark blue or black. So I will single load the brush with a dark red. And sometimes we like to double load the brush, which means that you can put paint on both sides. A little bit of oil, not too much. Some painters don't use additional oil. And you can use a hand to elevate your other hand. Sometimes you'll need to hold your project. And we start with a C stroke. It's the foundation of most Rosemaling. Light pressure, then a gentle sweep and lift. Think of it like the curve of a petal. If you need a little bit more oil on your brush or a little bit more paint, a little goes a long way with oil paints, so you can come back and blend it. They say it takes about at least 40 hours dedicated to the craft to feel like you somewhat know what you're doing. So stay patient with it. I'm going to then move on to an S stroke, which is a lot like the C stroke. We do a very light touch at an angle. Press down, glide, and pull up with just a light touch at the end. This is what gives Rosemaling beautiful movement. I will do one more stroke with a tiny bit of this. This is an alizarin crimson mixed with burnt umber and a little bit of cadmium red light on the end. So now we've double loaded the brush. To get the other side. So we'll move along to the other side. I'll somewhat double load that brush. And turning it to the other direction, an S stroke coming this way, light touch, press down, and bring it up to meet. Don't be afraid if it doesn't turn out just exactly how you'd expect. This is part of what gives individual painters their style. If you're not a person who likes to approach with symmetry, you might like the telemark style, as it's a lot more asymmetrical. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time either. It takes a long time. quite a bit of practice, and we are always learning. And the middle of the flower is also done. Everything's done with C strokes and S strokes. I am somewhat of a new painter. I have only been Rosemaling for about 7 years. And I enjoy taking classes, learning new styles, and continuing to learn about this ancient art. This has influences from a lot of other places in the world as people started moving about the globe in 1700s and 1800s. Next is the teardrop. Load the brush, press, and pull to a fine point. These fill spaces and add rhythm to the design. As these shapes come together, notice how they nod to natural forms, tendrils, petals, unfurling leaves. That's why Rosemaling feels so connected to gardening. So we're looking for some symmetry and remembering to be easy on ourselves, as art is not something that we are instantly experts with. There are lots of things to practice in every style of art. Use a small amount of odorless paint thinner to take out most of the red, although some painters recommend not completely cleaning your brush so that you do have some of the old paint on there. It keeps it just a little bit more muted when they blend together. So these are M-gram oil paints made in Portland. And we'll use a little S stroke here for this inner part of the flower. I guess that's a little bit more of a C stroke. So you can practice these different strokes just with water and a paintbrush on a board that responds to water. Sometimes they call these a Buddha board. So you can practice with repetition. There are many distinct Rosemaling styles, each shaped by the Norwegian valley it came from. Telemark's flowing scrolls, Hallingdal's symmetry, Rogaland's bold flowers, and several others. And even with a pencil, you can practice your designs. Eventually, we hope to create our own designs. If you'd like to explore these styles, the Western Rosemalers Association offers classes where you can learn from experienced painters and see the full range of regional traditions. And often keeping the same side darker, so you have consistency with how you imagine the light to come through and bounce off the object. It's really enjoyable to paint with oils. It is a lot more traditional to use oils, as in the early days, the painters were mixing them themselves out of natural elements. 50 years ago, when the Western Rosemalers started, Mary Ellerman and Florence Buck decided they would like to bring this Rosemaling to the Pacific Northwest. So they spoke with the people in Norway, who told them that it was a dead art and not worth pursuing, but they really enjoyed it. So they went to the people in Vesterheim, also called Western Home, in Decorah, Iowa, and there were people there at the time with painting classes. So they recommended having our own association started in the Northwest. So the Western Rosemalers Association just celebrated their 50th year. And folk arts are fun. They can be meaningful if it is or is not part of your own genetic history. Many of the active members are not Norwegian, and that's very fun to share different qualities of various cultures with one another. We are going to wash the brush again, go in with some green for the leaves, and then we will decorate with the stems and the outside. And create a little mound with a C-stroke and another C-stroke. We use a lot of the Fibonacci sequence. Right here for a basis, we use a mixture of Prussian blue and burnt umber. And to make the green, we add in some yellow ochre. Children can learn how to do some Rosemaling. You can use acrylic paints or even tempera. It can be really fun to blend the colors in, learn more about the art form. So once we have the main pieces somewhat established, if they blend together, you can always bring in a little bit more of the darker color. Every art is as much science as it is an art. There are fantasy flowers here, although this is somewhat of a tulip design. And when you're using a liner, you might want to use just a little bit more oil and establish a dark green or blue. They all come from the same root of the design. You can trace that out to the flowers. It's okay for it to look messy at first. It's okay to be rusty. This is all how we create our own style. And there are some local stores where you can purchase brushes, such as the Artist's Edge in Silverdale and in Paulsbo. It can be very, very calming. It does take quite a few days to process, painting many layers to prepare a piece. So when we start to do the teardrops and decorative pieces, we go out in a 2/3 kind of shape. So a lot like the Fibonacci sequence. When you're doing a teardrop shape, we start very light and then press down, pick it up. And they come from the same direction. We try to go in 3s or 5s. And usually the liner is done in either a dark blue or the light putty. And always pointing toward the center of the flower or the root of the design. Once you start to get to know the designs, you can start to break the rules a little bit more, play around with it. I'll add a little bit more oil to the putty, try to separate these. The putty is a titanium white mixed with just a tiny bit of yellow ochre. I see I've gotten a little bit of blue mixed in, so I'll have to work to separate that or spread it out. And you can use different colors on your palette to use your highlights if you'd like. It's nice to use just a small little bit of putty in the dot, in the middle. either use the back of a brush or careful little brush strokes. A very fine amount on there. And you can finish with a lighter color for each one. Just a little bit of this sort of salmon, which is the burnt umber with alizarin crimson, mixed with cadmium red light and some of that putty. Something that can go over the red. So try different things, see how much you can practice. Be bold with making mistakes. Try not to overthink it. Have fun. And it's okay when the things take a little bit more than one sitting to complete, or if they turn out completely differently than you expected. Every single time we learn a new thing, and it can be enjoyable. It's better than not doing it at all. So finishing touches, just little bits of the decoration. This can also be done in block print or screen printing, pencil, pen and ink. So you shouldn't be limited by the modality. So last little fronds here, all pointing toward the center. And enjoy the process. Tack för allt. Today we enjoyed Rosemaling on a boat basket. Thank you for joining us. You are invited to share your work on social media with the hashtag Gardening Through Art and find more tutorials on joyfulplant.com. See you next time.